I welcome all of you once again to the part 3 of data visualization. Let's see what we will learn in today's lecture. We will see two types of plots. The first one is scatter plot. The second one is pair plot. And then we will learn some theory at first, and then we will do some practical work. So let's see what is a scatter plot. A graph in which the values of two variables are plotted along x-axis and y-axis, and the pattern of the resulting points reveals the correlation present among variables is called scatter plot. Each observation of dataset in a scatter plot is represented by a dot. To observe the relationship between variables and see if it's a positive or negative correlation. You might be wondering that when to use a scatter plot. So we use a scatter plot when we have two variables that pair well together. We plot them to show how much one variable is affected by another. Now let's do some practical work. First of all, I will open Jupyter Notebook. Now I will open my current folder. From here, I will create a new notebook. Let's rename the notebook Data Visualizations Part 3. So first of all, I will create a markdown for importing libraries. Now I will say import numpy as np, import pandas as pd, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, import seaborn as sns. Now I will run it. Let's create another markdown. Read CSV. Now I will read the dataset cars equals to pd.read CSV. The name of file is data.csv and separated by comma. Cars.head. All right. Now I will create another markdown for cleaning my data so that I can have good visualizations. So first of all, I will drop all the null values. Cars equals to cars.dropNA. Now I will say cars.columns equals to. I will convert all of these names into lowercase and remove the spaces from the names. Cars.columns.str.lower.str replace and replace the spaces with an underscore. Let's run it. Now let's see our data set once again. So it looks clean right now. So first of all, I will use matplotlib for creating a scatter plot. Using matplotlib for scatter plot. So first of all, I will set the figure size plt dot figure fig size equals to 5 by 6. Now I will say plot dot scatter. So first of all, let's find out the relation between highway MPG and engine fuel type. So I will say cars dot highway MPG, and I will pass the y-axis as cars dot engine fuel type. Now let's pass the labels. So first of all, the title will be relation between cars highway MPG and fuel type. Now let's say plot dot x label. X label will be highway MPG. Plot dot y label as engine fuel type. Now let's run it. So here you can see the relation between highway MPG and engine fuel type. As you can see that electric engine fuel type or electric cars does not have a relation with highway MPG. However, regular, fixed fuel and diesel have a good correlation with highway MPG. They increase. Now let's move forward. I will say plot dot figure and set this fig size equals to 5 by 6 plot dot scatter. Now once again I will see the relation of cars dot highway MPG and cars dot transmission type. Let's pass the title and labels. Relation between highway MPG and transmission type. Plot dot x label highway MPG. Plot dot y label as transmission type. Let's print it. All right. So once again, you can see that direct drive does not have a good correlation with highway MPG. However, automated manual and automatic has a good correlation with highway MPG. Now let's create another scatter plot with the help of matplotlib one last time. So I will say plot dot figure fig size equals to 5 by 6 plot dot scatter and take cars city MPG as x-axis and cars dot highway MPG as y-axis. Let's set the title. So the title is relation between city and highway MPG. Now I will set the X label. X label will be city MPG and the label for y-axis will be highway MPG. Let's run it. So since the picture is not clear, that's why I will increase the x-axis size. As you can see that the city MPG is increasing as the highway MPG is increasing. So it's a positive correlation. And these values are the outliers that are extreme values. So scatter plot can also be used to find the outliers in the dataset, just like this one. Now let's move forward. Now I will use a markdown and say using Seaborn for scatter plot. All right. So first of all, I will create a list of numerical columns in my cars dataset. So I will say cars.dtypes, cars.dtypes not equals to object dot index. Now I will run a loop for column in numerical columns. First of all, I will set the fig size equals to 15 by 8. Now I will say SNS dot scatter plot. Create a plot for column as x-axis and y as MSRP, and take this data from cars datasets. So here I'm about to see the correlation of manufacturer's suggested retail price with each and every variable in my numerical columns list. Let's run it. Okay, so first of all, we have year. As you can see that the year does not have a good correlation with MSRP. The values are increasing in each year. Then we have engine horsepower. So if the engine horsepower is increasing, MSRP is also increasing. So it's a positive correlation. Next, we have engine cylinders. We can see that engines with 12, 10, and 8 cylinders have a good correlation with MSRP. Similarly, the number of doors of 2 and 4 have a good correlation with MSRP. The highway MPG, if it's between 0 and 50, has a good correlation with MSRP. The city MPG must be between 10 to 40 to have a good correlation with MSRP. Now, as you can see that the popularity does not have a specific correlation with MSRP. Now let's move back to slides. So what is a pair plot? A pair plot a pairwise relationships in a dataset. The pair plot function creates a grid of axes such that each variable in data will be shaded in the y-axis across a single row and the x-axis across a single column. So pair plot is used to understand the best set of features to explain a relationship between two variables or to form the most separated clusters. So let's see when to use a pair plot. We use pair plot when we want to see both distribution of single variables and relationships between two variables. So pair plots are a great method to identify trends while analysis Unfortunately, they are easy to implement in Python. So let's do some practical work once again. Let's create a pair plot markdown, creating a pair plot using C1. All right, so I just have to say SNS dot pair plot and then pass the dataset here. Let's run it. Now we can see the relations of each variable with different variables. For instance, we see the highway MPG with engine horsepower. If the highway MPG is between 0 to 100, then the engine horsepower is more likely between 250 and 750. Similarly, if you can see if the highway MPG is between 0 to 100, then the city MPG is more likely between 10 to 50. So that's how you can use a pair plot. You can also add more things to a pair plot like pair plot cars. You can pass the hue, which is actually the color. So I will pass the hue of transmission type. All right, so here you can see different transmission types. As you can see that automatic transmission type, which is represented by the yellow color, is mostly used in most of the cars. All right, now let's move back to the slides. So this is the end of part 3 video. And this is your homework. I have placed the link of dataset here. And these are your tasks. Do some exploratory data analysis, and then use scatter plots, then use pair plots, then create a summary of the relations which you have found in your dataset. Now good luck. See you next time.